Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert, and we have been off. We have been off the air for a week. You know who else has? Tucker Carlson. The difference is, I'm allowed back on. Here's what happened. Last Monday, Fox News fired Tucker Carlson. I can't believe. Wow. I finally get to say that on TV. I've been holding this in for a week. I feel like I just had the best pee of my entire life. Like him or not, and for the record, don't. Carlson was the most watched cable news host, so why fire him? Fox did not give a reason. In fact, Tucker Carlson's exit remains a mystery. Yes, a mystery. You can read all about it in Nancy Drew in the case of Why Didn't This Happen Years Ago? So, here's the dealio. So this isn't so much a whodunit, it's a why-done-it. But there are some clues. During the Dominion lawsuit, we learned that Carlson was privately texting disparaging remarks about his managers and co-workers. What we didn't know, but Fox later found out, is that Tucker called a senior Fox News executive the C word. Conservative? Cowabunga? Oh, that word. Wow, nice mouth, Tucker. You kiss your M&Ms with that mouth? Hey. Now, for those of you see what I did there? You see what I did there? For those who don't know what word I'm talking about, he called his boss a see you next Tuesday, or in this case, a see you never, Tucker. That was just... that was just the tip of the misogyny-berg. In another video obtained by the New York Times, Tucker is shown off-camera discussing his post-menopausal fans. Okay, that seems a little rude, but that is most of his fans. After all, the surest way to stop ovulating forever is looking at this face. It's true. You know, the ovaries just drop out and pew! But it's not just sexism. Reportedly, some higher-ups at Fox were concerned about what they felt was thinly veiled racism on his show. Thinly veiled? No wonder they were mad. Fox likes their racism cut thick, like a country bacon. Another theory is that Tucker got fired because he personally offended Fox chairman and pissed-off sack of yogurt Rupert Murdoch. Word on the street is Tucker got a little too Christian for Murdoch's taste, including a speech at the Heritage Foundation that was laced with religious overtones. And according to a source, that stuff freaks Rupert out. Of course it does. I mean, listen, if I was Rupert Murdoch, I wouldn't want to believe in hell either. Whatever the reason... Why whistle while you work? I don't know. Whatever the reason, Fox News has parted ways with Tucker, and in his old time slot, viewership is down 56%. And not all of that is Fox viewers dying in front of their sets. Conservatives are furious that Fox fired Carlson, but another reason nobody's watching is Fox News host and man with resting lobotomy face, the brown-haired guy who's not Steve Doocy or Tucker Carlson. Just look at him enthralling viewers on Friday.
We have more in just a moment. The music's going to get louder, graphics are going to come in, and I'm going to say something when I come back.
I'm gonna go away from the screen, but my producers promised me that I will not disappear forever like that ball that rolled behind the couch. I'll just sit here and wait for you to come back. I live in your TV, my ratings are food, and please never change the channel. Fox's loss is someone else's gain because over at conservative network Newsmax, primetime viewership has surged. That's big news for their primetime lineup. the security camera at a bait and tackle shop. Currently, Tucker is a free agent. There's plenty of interest. Immediately after he was fired, Tucker Carlson got an offer from Russia State Media. That's gotta be a tempting offer. Up till now, he's been representing Russia pro bono. Tucker has also...
Checks out.
He's good. We report, you decide. Tucker also has gotten unofficial offers from One American News Network, conservative news outlet Blaze TV. Even Mike Lindell offered Tucker Carlson a job. Yes, Lindell wants Tucker to be the pillow. But what's out? Oh, big news. There's big news out of the White House. I almost forgot. Last week, President Biden officially announced that he will seek a second term. Of course, we know Biden's real opponent is the ravages of time. If he wins a second term, he will be 86 years old when he leaves office, and voters feel that is, to put it delicately, way too old. According to a new poll, 70% of Americans believe Biden should not run for re-election, and half of those polled cite his age as a major reason. But what matters is that Biden is young at heart. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's all his other organs we have to worry about. But Joe's got hope, baby, because in that same poll, 88% of Democratic voters say they'll definitely or probably still vote for Biden if he's the nominee. Yeah! Definitely or probably. So nobody wants him, but they'll take him if he's their only option. He's the political position known as oatmeal raisin cookie. Following his announcement, Biden was asked about the age issue, and he said this.
You've said questions about your age are legitimate, and your response is always, just watch me. What do you say to those Americans who are watching and aren't convinced?
With regard to age, I can't even say, I guess, how old I am. I can't even say the number. It doesn't register with me.
Listen, Jack. Listen. Listen, if you're worried about my age, you'll be pleased to know that I have trouble identifying and calculating basic numbers. Marco. What?
Oh, no.
One guy it looks like Biden won't have to worry about much next year is Florida governor and broken robot in the Hall of Never Gonna Be Presidents. Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis was supposed to help the GOP move past the former president, but he has one big political liability. He's Ron DeSantis. And he's tanking in the polls, and not just here, everywhere he goes on the planet. He just returned, Ron DeSantis, he just returned from a foreign trip that was officially billed as an attempt to build Florida's economic relationships with the UK, Israel, South Korea, and Japan. Yes, he was trying to boost sales of Florida's top exports. Unemployed alligators, SpongeBob face tattoos, and drunk bachelorettes wandering around going, guys, where's Liz? Where's Liz? I'm supposed to go back to the hotel with Liz. Wait, I'm Liz. So, of course, the real point of this trip was to make him look, presidential. But in Japan, it made him look like this.
Governor, polls show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
I'm not a candidate. I'm also not in control of. I'm not in control of my head. This is not a joke. I can't stop. Help! My skull is full of bees. Oh no! Here we go. Okay. Oh, they found a flower. They found a flower. They found a. DeSantis also traveled to the United Kingdom, where he met with British business leaders who later described him as horrendous and low wattage. It said that DeSantis looked bored and stared at his feet at an event co-hosted by Lloyd's of London, the world's largest insurance marketplace. He bored British insurance agents. Oh, I say. Oh. My goodness. I say he's frightfully dull. Let's go back to discussing deductibles for chimney lung. The harshest review of all, it felt really a bit like we were watching a state-level politician. There wasn't any stardust. No stardust, or as it's known in Florida, meth. That wasn't the only low light from DeSantis' trip. Here he is responding to a question about a former Gitmo detainee who claims DeSantis was present while he was being tortured.
How would they know me? Okay, think about that. Do you honestly believe that's credible? So this is 2006. I'm a junior officer. Do you honestly think that they would have remembered me from Adam? Of course not.
Do you really think a guy would remember me? No one remembers me. I don't remember me. What's my name again? Glom de Sandwich? Oh no, the bees are back. The bees are back. Show for you tonight. My guests are Nicolas Cage and James Marsden.